here we are, back again. Littering. um, so I tend to record these in the evening. Um, Usually when I get off of work or after I am done spending time with my family. I try not to save them until the last possible moment. But right now it's nearly 10 o'clock in the evening for me. And I tend to stay up a little bit late. I don't need to be at my job until around 10 o'clock in the morning. So I'll still have plenty of time to get some sleep. And it won't be too bad. But it is on the edge of late for me. We are starting to get solidly into I should be getting ready for bed territory. And instead, well, I'm playing Minecraft. I did take a nap for about half an hour earlier, so I'm not completely lacking in sleep. Um, but yeah, I'm usually recording these. Um, Usually I'm recording these, if not after work, then um, after doing a whole bunch of other stuff throughout the day. And it's not been the easiest to find kind of a balance. I cannot, is it, that leaf is blocking me? Jeez, I can't jump. I've been trying to sort of figure out when really I need to schedule myself for things, and it's well, that was weird. Um but yeah, just a lot of this 1 hour series is me kind of trying to work out when the best time for me to actively work on this stuff is. I can't be exhausted all the time. I can't work on YouTube and um not be getting sleep, and um I can't ignore my family, you know. Um but there's some things that I have to kind of figure out, like where am I willing to put my time and when. But so yeah, that's something that I've been trying to figure out. Um Normally what I do with these is I record them. I do a quick review of the footage, which means I listen to it at 2 times speed to make sure that there's not any weird inconsistencies or like in the middle of one of the videos I had to cut out a phone call I got from my sister, um which I didn't answer because if it had been an emergency she would have texted me about it. Um, but it, she was trying to let me know that our game night had been canceled. Um, for a Dungeons and Dragons, not Dungeons and Dragons, but Pathfinder. I say Dungeons and Dragons because it's a similar game, and that's easier for a lot of people to understand. If you say Pathfinder, a lot of people don't know what it is. But yeah, tabletop RPG. Um, but yeah, she called me to let me know that it had been canceled, and so I ended up having to find and cut that out, and yeah, so just I don't know why I started rambling about this. I think just because I'm a little bit tired today. You know, we're not going to be cutting things short or anything, but it's just one of those things where I'm just thinking about what I want to do and why and how, which is, to be entirely honest, something I spend a lot of time doing. 1, 2, 3. That looks like enough saplings there. We'll plant a couple of acacia up here. Oh, the fireflies are out. It's summer is creeping in, and I live in the Great Lakes region of the United States. Doxing myself a little bit, I suppose. But there's fireflies in the summertime, and there aren't as many as there used to be. With pesticides and honestly herbicides, with people killing things they consider weeds or pests in mass, a lot of different kinds of bugs have been disappearing, and fireflies are one of them. Because it's not something that most people know, because fireflies, they're particularly gentle. They genuinely will just land on your hands if you gently place your fingers underneath them. They do glow. They're quite special. But fireflies, they eat mosquitoes. And with how much we attack mosquitoes, with how people spray their yards for them and kill them, it's also reducing the number of fireflies that are around. So I like that fireflies are in the game because they might not be around in real life for very much longer. Sorry, we're getting a little bit sad today. But yeah, that's and you know, I think about the whole thing. Why don't we do some chest sorting today, since I seem to be quite a chatterbox? That only made 2. We're gonna need more than 2. Do I have any extra spare bits of wood around? Not particularly. We'll just use more mangrove because I am going to end up cutting down a lot more of the mangrove here soon. Um, yeah, there's ways to encourage um, different bugs. Oops. To show up in your yard. People tend to gravitate towards butterflies and butterflies and let's see if we can get that chest to show up. There we go. But yeah, people tend to gravitate towards butterflies and bees, and those are good. Um, but something that people really tend to forget is that every single animal that exists as part of our ecosystem is important to it, including ones that are scary, like wasps, or annoying, like mosquitoes. And mosquitoes can be dangerous. They can. Um, but, they're also a massive, massive food source for thousands of other bugs and animals. So, once we start killing mosquitoes because we don't like them, we're also killing a lot of animals we do like. And often for little reason other than spite. um, it's a lot of times just like, oh, this bug is a pest and I don't want it around, without taking into consideration that, yeah, this bug might be a pest that you don't want around, but now that you've killed literally all of the ones that exist in your yard, you're not finding the bugs that you do like. You're not finding the the frogs and the lizards and the diversity that you want to see in your yard. It's like you can't decide that you only want part of nature. If you want nature, you have to accept that nature is nature and all of it is going to exist regardless of your opinion of it. Or if you don't want part of it to exist, then the parts of it you like are going to also cease to exist. Damn, we're feeling very philosophical today, aren't we? As I've been talking about this for like 7 minutes, 10 minutes now, for too long. For too long. Nobody really needs a lecture about animals and ecology. Least of all for me. I know a lot about animals, but I'm not. I don't want Sandballs to go. I'm not an expert. I'm not. I don't have a degree in biology. I don't have a lot of experience with sort of like field work or anything like that. I just really like animals and I pay attention. We maybe should move. Wood should be its own box, and then plants should be its own box, but they can stay in the same box for the time being. Like, we're gonna have, this seems kind of miscellaneous, but we've got ores, and then like other fairly important items, extra tools in here. Where do I want mob drops? We'll throw mob drops in here as well for now. Yeah, that works okay. We'll go ahead and move any extra tools down here so that we can find them easy. Extra crafting table can go in here. Magma block can go there. We'll put all of the mob drops. We'll put arrows with the mob drops too. Put fish down here, I think. And I was that kid who every single summer we had an old pool that we never used in our backyard. So the water got stagnant and old and gross and full of algae and other things, and it was the perfect place for frogs. So every year we would get dozens of frogs, and probably thousands of tadpoles in this old swimming pool. And so every year I would go out with some little, like, cheapo butterfly net or something and catch tadpoles and frogs and play with them. And, eventually the swimming pool got torn down and we stopped playing with the frogs, and because they weren't there anymore, but, I missed them. I moved to a city for a while, and I liked the city. It was nice. I had friends there, and I really had a whole life going on, and it was overall it was pretty good. But I really have to be honest. I don't want to live somewhere where I can't hear the animals again. Because I had to move back in with my parents a while ago. Rent got too expensive, and I had lost my job, and then less than a month later was told that I was not going to have the lease renewed on my apartment. And between those two things, I wasn't able to find a place to live or a job in fast enough order to make things work. So I had to move back home. And it's really funny what being away for 5 years will kind of do, because I didn't realize just how much I missed some things until I came back home. We'll put the fire there. I'm not using the doors. I'm just jumping in and out of the window. That's pretty funny. Maybe I need to put a door here. But yeah, I didn't realize just how much I missed the frogs. And the birds. And there were some birds. You could hear them, but it wasn't as it wasn't the same. There weren't as many. Ow, ow. There weren't as many birds, and it just... There's something very different about being so much closer to... I wouldn't necessarily call where I live, like, nature, but it's closer to it than living in the city is. And, you know, it's like, you didn't get to hear the frogs, and there weren't as many birds, and there weren't as many bugs, unless, you know, it was ants getting into the kitchen. Um, and ants get into the kitchen everywhere. So that's kind of something I think about a lot. Like, I really don't want to live somewhere again where I can't hear the frogs and the crickets and cicadas and the birds. But I can't stay where I am forever either. That's kind of human nature, I suppose. You can't stay where you are forever. You have to keep moving forward no matter what. Oh, heck yeah, a saddle. We might be able to find a horse. That should go in here. I'm just hoping that the direction I'm moving toward is kind of, I don't know, the right one. That's a hard thing to define, what the right direction is. Because I don't think I necessarily mean that, like, there's a correct path for anybody, just the right direction for me specifically. Because it really hasn't felt like I've been going in any particular direction for a very long time. So I'm hoping that right now I'm at least making some right moves. Doing some things the way that I should. Because I'd like to make things work. I don't know what I'm doing a lot of the time. But, you know, it's 10:15 in the evening, and I'm cooking video game cod on a video game fire, and fishing in the same video game. Talking about life and ideas, and hoping that I can make things work out in some way that makes sense for me. That's kind of what I think most people are trying to do, is make things work out in a way that makes sense for them. Alright, well, we've gotten a few fish. put that there. I'm trying to decide if I want to go back to that area and see if I can get more buried treasure. I think that might be a fun time, but maybe we just do some mining today. I think if I really wanted to do that, I would have been smarter to start it earlier. But we could do some mining. That sounds like a decent plan. See if we can get closer to finding a cave. I need to move these here too as well at some point. We'll make one more. I can throw this in a box. Do I have an extra crafting table? Yeah, there we go. Yeah, let's go do some mining for a while. We might spend the last half hour or so doing some mining. That kind of looks ominous, doesn't it? Making our little pinholes. Yeah, but yeah, I used to catch frogs. I wasn't very good at catching like things like lizards and salamanders, unfortunately, but frogs were pretty easy. Frogs and toads. I worked for a security company for a little while. How am I doing these? Alright, 3 between. I worked for a security company for a little while, and it was for a place that was sort of out in the middle of nowhere. And there was a really big pond nearby. And so a lot of animals would show up at the pond, and so I actually saw cranes and herons pretty often, and other like songbirds and oh gosh, so songbirds and just a lot of different animals would be around, but like a lot of birds, and there were like muskrats and just it was kind of nice actually working there security, at least for that part of it. The security job itself wasn't nice, but the location was pretty good. The security job actually was kind of terrible. Oh, but yeah, the location was good. Because I got to see lots of animals, and the one spring there were hundreds of these teeny tiny baby frogs just everywhere. um, the one day, and we had to go inside these buildings, and we weren't allowed outside for the entire duration of our shifts, and there were no windows. Um, so it's like walking to your post was very much the only sort of outdoor interaction you got. Um, and there were hundreds of these baby frogs just everywhere. And my coworkers, the ones that weren't completely freaked out by it because they didn't know anything about animals at all, were like, "Oh my gosh, they're so cute. I hope that they're still here when um, the shift ends." Well, the shift ends at 8 o'clock in the morning, and I, this is gonna get a little bit, maybe a little bit. I mean, it's kind of been an uncomfortable. I've just been talking about like animals and like how things are dying and stuff all day, or for the for the entire hour so far. But I didn't have the heart to tell my coworkers that it's like with the amount of birds around, all those little baby frogs, um, probably 90% of them got eaten by the birds that are around, because birds are carnivores. Not all of them, but many of the birds around are carnivores. So I thought about it for a little bit. I was like, I'm just not gonna tell them. So, I was like, I was walking back out to the front gate, and my coworkers are all like, "Oh man, I was hoping there'd be more baby frogs," and I'm just like, "Yeah, they probably all went back to the pond," not saying a word about it because I know that it would just make them sad that a bunch of the baby frogs had gotten eaten. But that kind of ties back into things like, yeah, a bunch of those baby frogs got eaten. Those baby frogs ate mosquito larvae and, like other small animals in the water while they were growing. And then there were hundreds of these tiny baby frogs everywhere. Well, we can't have, with how many eggs frogs lay, if every single one of them survived, or even if half of them survived, we would be completely overrun with frogs. So now we have these birds that swoop in and they get a huge meal, and then the songbirds stick around the area because they know that there's food, and um, it's a kind of the whole circle of life thing, and it's one of those things where it's like I wanted to talk to my coworkers about it because it's actually very cool how life keeps going in that way. How like different animals survive off of each other and thrive by, you know, um, each one of them has a role to play in sort of this ecosystem and food chain, and um, the different animals that will, consume each other or find reasons to um, coexist together. It's just, I think, something that not enough people spend enough time really getting into, because it's something that's like really important. Because human beings are not disconnected from this food chain whatsoever. um Bees aren't the only pollinators out there. wasps and beetles and butterflies and um, a whole bunch of different kinds of bugs, moths, and just tons and tons of different bugs and animals pollinate flowers and plants and make it so that we have access to food. And it's like people joke about wanting all the moths. People joke about wanting all the wasps to disappear, and then it's like, okay, but if all the wasps disappear, then we don't have figs, you know? Um, and maybe that's acceptable, but there's thousands of other plants that wasps pollinate as well. It's something that I'm very interested in, and I could probably talk circles about it for forever. Um, but yeah, I don't want to live somewhere where there aren't bugs and birds and frogs. I think we'll dig forward until this pickaxe breaks, and then if we haven't found a cave by then, we'll start doing some of this branching. Ecology does not work that way in Minecraft. I think I'm using the word ecology correctly. I might not be. But I think I am. I suppose I could take a moment to look it up, but I don't want to. I'll look it up later, but if I'm wrong right now, then it's on record that I was wrong. And if I was right, then, well, it never hurts to double check that you're using a word correctly. I love tuff. I might actually spend some time digging out a bunch of this tuff. I love tuff. It's one of my favorite blocks in the game, I think. Like, I love the blue and the gray in it. The blues and the greens and the grays. It's such a good block. And the way that it fits with, like, the mossy cobblestone. Just absolutely one of my favorites. One, two, third one here. Oops, too far. There we go. Something I like about strip mining is that you do, like, get a lot of extra resources. When I go caving, I don't tend to gather as much stuff like granite. But at least with the strip mines here like this, I do know that I can just grab pretty much whatever I want. Like, oh, I need granite. We'll just pop over here and dig out this big old chunk here. But I'm not too... I don't think I need granite right now. I wonder how granite and the mangrove would look together. I bet interesting. I feel like the mangrove has a lot more orange in it, and the granite has a lot more pink in it. They potentially could complement each other. You just have to find sort of the right balance. Yeah, me just rambling about animals for a hot minute. But yeah, I'm glad that they added the fireflies, even if it's not sort of the original vision. Because I know that when they were talking about looking at introducing fireflies before, they were 2 pixels. How do I do that? And a little bit bigger. And I think that would have been fine. I know a lot of people were really upset when they decided not to add the fireflies. Did I do that wrong one? No, I did that right. Which I'm not gonna lie, I think a lot of people overreacted about a little bit. It sucks to get told that something's going to be added and then told that they're gonna backpedal about it. Like, yeah, I completely understand why people were unhappy, but I do also think that people overreacted just a little bit. I don't pay as super close attention to like the updates and things. I tend to watch people's videos and I like to kind of know what's going on overall, but I don't keep like super close track or anything, you know? But I do know that a lot of stuff that has been going on with the game, like Microsoft was pushing really, really hard for a lot of things that Mojang was trying to do, and that led to a lot of promises that they couldn't keep. Which they probably tried really hard to keep a lot of those promises as much as they could. But yeah, I don't know. People really freaked out about the fireflies not getting added initially, and that I'm not gonna lie, was actually kind of off-putting, I think. Like, am I glad that there's firefly bushes in the game now? Yes, actually very glad. I love fireflies in real life and now in the game as well. But, if they had never been added, it also wouldn't have been the end of the world. But, you know, it's funny them disappearing in real life. That says a lot of things that are pretty scary about the world right now. You know, I don't think I like how I set this up now. No, I don't. It's such a small space. Lining up the chests like this does not actually work super well. Alright, this one's empty. Put things where they go so that moving stuff is easier. And since we're moving things again anyway, we may as well actively sort them. But yeah, that wasn't meaning to, like, be a lecture or anything. That was just me rambling about how I've noticed that things are different now. We'll go ahead and actually merge these two boxes for the moment. Put everything in here. And I'll rearrange that again here in a minute. Oh, nighttime. I should put glass or something in these windows at some point. Yeah, that's a bit better. Crafting table. Four furnaces aren't totally necessary, probably. They're also not necessary. So we're gonna do that. This is a little bit of a cramped space, but it's not too bad. Normally with furnaces, I just sort of insert them into the walls. But that's still cramped. Alright, we'll put a crafting table there. That's not too bad. But if we did that, I like that better. It's not as bulky. We'll have it facing outward, though. There. Have that, and then that there. Alright, it's not the best setup. But, I mean, it's okay. We don't really need a whole lot. I'll go ahead and make some more chests to sort of round this wall out, though, so that we have plenty of storage. I'll have to remember where everything is. Oh, there we go. Yeah, this basically just extends this wall, and then we have this small area is what's open. I think I actually want the crafting table. Down there. Just because this is such a small area. that's a good start on the chest. Should I just use the wood and make more? I've got a bunch of trees planted over there I need to cut down anyway. There. Yeah, sorry for getting like a little bit, I don't know. Okay, I have 4 now. There we go. Whole wall of chests. That took more effort than it should have. Yeah, there we go. We have some storage taken care of now, though. That's not going to stay organized for very long, probably. I think I'm going to move the stuff that I want to access most to these front 4. So things like stone and cobblestone, wood, maybe different crops and things. Yeah, we're starting to get things together here. Oh, and I think we've got carrots. Oh yeah, some more carrots. Pretty soon we will... Let's see, we've got 3. Pretty soon we will have tons of carrots. Is this wheat done? It is. Oh, excellent. 2 wheat seeds. Stuff's gonna be planted a little bit sporadically until we get some stuff really going. I really want to do more exploring soon, I think. We did not build a place for Cream Puff to live yet. We should shear Cream Puff, though. Where did my scissors go? There they are. Yeah, we should give Cream Puff a little snack. First piece of wheat. There you go. There you go, buddy. You're a good sheep. Yeah, I don't know, I don't know. I feel like I just sort of rambled my way through this one, talked about a lot of different things, but it's nice to see the fireflies. I hope that I see more this summer. It's time to go to bed. In real life and in the game. So good night. And it's been a good time. I hope you hang out next time. We're peering through our window. If it's bedtime for you, I hope you get some rest. And if it's the middle of the day, I hope it's a good day. But time for me to sleep.